Today, a very quick and simple lesson, I think. Inverted phrasal verbs. It may be something you have never heard of before, because I haven't really seen it mentioned in any of the English books which I use, but I have seen them appear in a number of different places, and so I thought I'd talk about them, because I've talked about inversion before, and this is another form of inversion. It's inversion with phrasal verbs, and I think especially if you read children's books, so if you have kids and you read stories to them at night, you will very often see inverted phrasal verbs, especially phrasal verbs of motion. Up we went, down they ran, round I swam, off you go. All of these become really quite natural, and this particular one, off and go, off you go, I think you hear people saying this as well sometimes, although I should say that all of this inversion sounds quite literary to me, but not necessarily academic literature, classical literature. Children's literature very often has this kind of stuff, and not only children's literature. So yeah, there's these kind of phrasal verbs of motion are very common. The preposition off, I think, is very common in this. Off I went, or off I ran, or whatever. It doesn't matter what kind of verb here, as long as it's a phrasal verb of motion, it's probably going to be okay. And it's generally seen more often with one syllable words on both sides of the pronoun. So yeah, you will more often see kind of one syllable words, short kind of expressions like up we went, or down I got, or something like that. In I got, out I got. And it's not just the verbs of motion. I thought of some here which to me sounded quite natural and quite common. You might often hear people say, on and on he went, and here it means he's talking about something on and on and on. Remember that go on can mean continue, or it can mean talk too much. So you could say on and on he went, or on and on he rabbited, because rabbit on means that somebody is going on too much. They keep talking and talking and talking. And so that kind of expression you might quite often hear. On and on he went, on and on he rabbited. Off he dropped into a deep slumber. Here, I mean, he dropped off, he fell asleep. Yeah, to drop off is to fall asleep. So off he dropped into a deep slumber. And another example, again, not a verb of motion here, but just something different, just to show you that we use a few different phrasal verbs in inverted ways sometimes. When you come round, it can have a few meanings here. It can mean like drop round someone's place, like come round. But it could also mean when somebody is unconscious, and when they come round, it's when they wake up from being unconscious. So round he came after 10 minutes of being unconscious. Something like that is also a way you could use it. So, not a very big topic. There are many other examples. Please, if you're not sure if your example sounds natural, write it under the lesson, but it's probably okay. I mean, especially if it's a one syllable word, I think it makes, if they're short words, it's when they get onto these kind of longer words, it doesn't quite sound so natural. Although I think that's acceptable. On and on he rabbited. I see no reason why it should be a mistake. Anyway, it's just another form of inversion, inverted phrasal verbs, and I hope that was of interest to you. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you all soon.